In this timeline, this would take place after Adam's defeat, like in canon. However, things would start to change after that. As Lute would go to Lilith, she would want things to get done. She would want to get revenge. However, there would be a slight problem. Heaven would be changing, and they would no longer need exorcists. The exorcist program was disbanded, and Lute hated this. She sat by day and watched how heaven changed. She watched how heaven turned her back on her, and turned back on her fellow soldiers, turned her back on everything she did. And she began to slowly despise heaven itself. She would watch as everyone she looked up to, everyone that looked up to her, turned their back on her. And she had no one but Lilith, and even that wouldn't be enough. As the redemption program was doing well, it seemed like heaven was ready for progress, but heaven became too changing. Heaven wasn't the place it used to be. Heaven used to be a place for only the most luxurious, for only the most privileged. But now it's not. She watched as everything changed. She watched as the sinners came in. And well, she couldn't do anything about it. She could raise fear and try to start an uprising, but would that even work? And besides, that could take centuries. By then, it could be too late. Lute decided she would have to stop hell from within, so she made a grave sacrifice. She would become a demon to stop everything, as she went down to hell and became a fallen angel. Lute's goal was to destroy hell from the inside. As she looked down, her arm was made of pure magic now. Sarah was able to fix it, but it was pure magic and kind of was a giveaway. So, she made herself a disguise. True, she was a sinner, but she looked still like an exorcist. So, with her disguise, she would walk around. As she saw hell, she would begin to come up with a plan. How would she do this? How would she destroy it? As Lute would spy on Overlords. She spied on Overlord like Rosie. She would learn what she liked. She would learn what kind of culture she had and how her city ran. As then she went off to spy on the V's and even Camilla Carmine. She spied on them. She spied on each one. As she spied on each Overlord, she began to learn more and more. Lute would then practice magic. You see, Lute had a plan. She couldn't bring down hell with an army. No matter how hard she tried, all she could do was thin the numbers, but that wasn't good enough. The only way to truly defeat hell and to make sure they can't stand in the way would be turning hell against each other and destroying that ridiculous hotel to make heaven into what it once was. Even if Lute could never live there, she has to save heaven. She has to do this for everyone. As Lute would practice, it would take a year to learn, but eventually she could shapeshift into anyone. As finally she was ready for this. Finally, she was ready to save heaven, as she turned into Velvet. As she then began to walk to Rosie's territory. As she was disguised as Velvet, she knew she could do this. Everyone there was scared of her. Even though she acted rude, no one really talked back to her. She needed to do something appalling, but not something totally out of character. She needed to act like her, be her, but do something that she would do. As she would decide to burn down a clothing shop because they were quote-unquote too ugly for her. That should spark some controversy, as then Lute left. As then we cut to the next day. The V's will be having a meeting as Rosie stormed in. As Rosie would look at them, Val would say, "Oh, Rosie, are you here to work for me? I'm sure people would like someone old like you. Old-fashioned. I think people have a thing for." Rosie would say, "Shut up. I'm here because Velvet burnt down one of my stores." Vox would say, "Velvet, we talked about this." "I didn't do it." As then she would start to yell with Rosie. As Rosie would say, "You better pay me contribution or I'm going to war." As Rosie left, Vox said, "Just pay her." Vel would say, "I'm not going to pay her for something I didn't do." "But you have done it." As they would continue to argue, they would get nowhere. As Lute would be watching from the shadows, she would enjoy this, as now it was time to divide up more Overlords. However, Lute had a big problem with her plan. Someone kept the Overlords together, and someone would discover that Lute was messing around with them, and eventually Lute would be stopped, and that was Camilla Carmine. Camilla Carmine had a strong grasp on the Overlords, at least the older ones. She could easily mess with the V's and the newer hot-headed ones, but these older ones, I don't think she could do that. But
she could change that. If she got rid of Carmilla Carmine, there would not be a strong figurehead, and there would be a huge power vacuum. However, she is protected by all the other Overlords to make sure that no other Overlord takes power. And she doesn't have much territory. She's more of a figurehead, kind of like the Pope is, to keep everyone in line and to ask for advice for the old-fashioned Overlords. Of course, this old way of thinking is slowly dying out, but she's still quite influential, and if Lute got rid of her, it would make things a lot easier. As Lute decided to stay away and begin to train with her new magic arm. She had an arm made of pure magic since she lost one in the battle. As she continued to train more and more, she continued to upgrade her fighting style to make it stronger, to make it better, and to get ready for revenge.
As one day, Carmilla Carmine would be in her office alone. As Lute would sneak in, suddenly she would grab a spear and say, "I know you're there." As Lute would reveal herself and get rid of her disguise, Carmilla would say, "It's you. Coming back, huh? And now you're one of us, so why are you here? To destroy hell from the inside. Is that your plan? Oh my. Are you the reason the V's are mad at Rosie? That's the dumbest thing I've seen. I was just experimenting, starting off with little drama and then build it up. But without you, everyone will try to get your new seat. Everyone will try to get your seat of power, and everyone will try to replace you. And that will cause chaos. And then I'll sow up more war. As all the Overlords are fighting at each other and one at each other's throats, more and more sinners will be desperate and go to the hotel, since it's proven to work. But when they all go, a disaster will happen." Carmilla Carmine would say, "Why are you telling me this? Why all you bad guys always say what you want to do?" Lute would laugh and say, "Because I wanted to give you a chance to join me.
I know you used to be a fallen angel, and I know you must hate it here. After all, you use all of your energy to stop these people from destroying themselves. Wouldn't it be easier to pin them against each other? Wouldn't it be easier to watch it all be destroyed? After all, you can't possibly like it here. Looking at all this filth," Carmilla Carmine would say, "I will admit, it's not the best living here. However, it's better than living in the theocracy that you guys live in. At least we're honest about what we are, instead of you just stay in your high horse." Lute would say, "Maybe we do, but not anymore." As Lute would grab an angelic spear and throw it at Carmilla Carmine, as she would dodge, and they begin to battle each other. As their swords clashed against each other, they began to battle each other with everything they had. Carmilla Carmine had experience, but so did Lute. However, Carmilla Carmine learned angelic and demonic style, and Lute has only just learned angelic style to fight against, and she's been fighting against demonic style her entire life. As they kept on fighting more and more and more, it seemed like evenly matched. However, Lute would start to get up their hand when she used her anger, when she used her rage, when she summoned every single bit of strength she had, and she was just barely able to strike Carmilla Carmine down. She was shocked. It was so close, she almost lost. Her entire revenge streak almost gone. But now she can do it, and now it can finally come to all of her plans. As she would decide to frame Gestial. So, after all, he was the strongest Overlord, not counting Alistair. To have all the other Overlords against her would probably be a good thing. As then she left, a power vacuum happened, everyone fought. Lute would sabotage people more and more, as then more and more people fled to the hotel. It seemed like the hotel's business was booming, because of how dangerous hell was now. But that's what Lute planned, as now it was time for Lute to strike.
As the hotel thrived, no one thought much about it. Hell was in chaos, but the hotel was a beacon of hope. It was the beacon to save people. It was the beacon to bring hell together, and to even bring it into heaven. However, Lute had enough of this. As Lute snuck into the hotel, she got ready. As she's been planning on making this for a long time, she worked 3 years on this. It was an angelic explosive that would blow up angelic energy. She was going to destroy the hotel and wipe out so many sinners, and practically almost wipe out Charlie. As she put the explosives on the hotel, she blew it up. Charlie was out with Alistair when it happened. Coincidentally, it was almost like Alistair knew what was going on, but the destruction brought absolute chaos. As hell was in fighting, all-out fighting. No one trusted the new hotel that was built, and everyone was at each other's throats. It seemed like there would be no peace. Lute did it. She got her revenge. She sacrificed everything. And now she doesn't know what to do, but she did it. vengeance was
And
hers.
that's going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to share with all your friends. This really means the world to me, making videos like this for you all. And you all loved the last video I made. You all just loved it. I saw how many views it got. I saw how many likes it got. That really means a lot to me that you guys love and support my videos. And if you don't think anyone loves you, you're wrong, because I love you. I love all of you. I love all my viewers. I love all the people that like, all the people that comment. It means the world to me. And my channel has gone far a ways. It really has, you know. Because this channel has done a lot. Yeah. And honestly, I don't really know what the future of this channel holds. Like, content-wise. I mean, I guess what ifs have been doing great and all, but you know, some YouTubers, after doing the same thing for so long, they just get stuck and they lose viewers. And I don't want to be like that. So yeah, I've been trying to experiment with other stuff, and that's how I became a has-been YouTuber. But maybe I tried tier lists. I didn't really do as well. I tried Star Wars. I'm kind of like stuck in the middle. Maybe it'll be like something else. Like I don't know. What do you think would get views besides has-been? Let me know in the comments below what you think would get a lot of views. Anyway, like I said before, I don't know if I'll be able to post a lot during my trip. I have no idea what it's gonna be like. I thought about just making a bunch of pre-made videos, but that would just absolutely destroy me and my morality. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. Anyway, I hope you all are having a good day. I know I am. It's world's going crazy. It is. I've been looking around. I've been talking to people, and it's just it's insane how much the world has changed and how much the world stayed the same at the same time. Not gonna lie. Right now, every day feels like an eternity. Every day feels like so much has happened. But it used to be like almost nothing happened. Like a year would be like it just felt like a day, you know? Not much would happen in a year. But now it's like everything. So, yeah. I don't know. Can you relate? Let me know in the comments that you can relate. That it feels like so much passes now in each day. And before, it just didn't seem like that. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. Love you all so much. You mean the world to me. Peace out.